full effect. I am Daverick Lyles along with Sean
Alexander.
Alexander the Great.
The Great. I'll take it. I'll fucking take that.
And our engineer, our loyal engineer and
George
editor,
Carmona.
George
Carmona.
TJIF Friday George.
Dude, you fucked up.
No, that's not me. I've had a couple of mishaps here to start off the show, but I think we're ready to book.
Wait, hold on a second.
Wait.
But however, you did say there was a great day, so you're celebrating something. What happened today?
Oh, it was just like it was a good day. Like I don't get bored with consistency anymore. I think that's a big.
Are we wearing off on him?
Wearing off
a little bit when I have to.
I'm going to call you out. You're full of shit right now.
Oh,
you're celebrating because Ozark. You're watching Ozark tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that is a thing that is happening tonight. John Orlando, thank you for being able to provide.
Did you get an invite? Mm-hmm. I didn't get an invite.
Sorry,
this was exclusive.
No, actually, I told him I can't do weekends.
I didn't get the invite from him though. I got invited from one of their other clients.
We're not a top tier podcast. Is that what it is? Or are we
we suck?
Are we the stepchild? Okay, I just checking with John.
Just chill, bro.
Okay.
George.
Jorge.
See. Yes.
Are you TGIF?
No, I'm not TGIF at all, man. I've been trying. Yeah, I literally on the drive over this morning, I was like, I've been trying to eliminate on my emails. I usually send Happy Friday because that's like a teacher's favorite saying is Happy Friday. So I eliminated it today, and I just said thank you.
You know what? I'm going to ask him your question. Just because he said that.
Go ahead.
The number one top pro and the number one top con of being a teacher.
Top pro easily is the time off, man. The time off is like I'm able to work a full-time job at this studio, handle clients, also learn like the business practice and learning how to sell. So I've learned my own complete separate side hustle, and I hopefully will one day just have it like surpass what I get paid as a teacher. And that's the number one con. It's like you have time off, but the con is you don't get paid as much. Now it's up to like a lot of teachers just don't ever
do more.
Yeah, they don't ever go out and do more. So it's a disservice to them because there is so much time. When teachers tell you, like there's stressful moments.
Sure, testing days and all that stuff, and they gotta grade like 1,000 papers for like 5 different classes or whatnot. I get that, but outside of that, do they really not have as much time? It's just an 8-hour shift. Help a bunch of kids, have a good time. Sometimes they bust your balls, and you're gonna freak out. But
best hours too. I mean, you don't get better hours.
But you also get to have a taste of so many different personalities. Some might look at it as that's draining, but if you're looking at it from a different perspective, like you actually get to learn a new set of skills of understanding behavior and personality, because that will serve you, as you said, in the sales world.
Yeah.
So my question is why I feel like a lot of teachers are very bitter. Why is that?
Is it because of the pay?
Okay, a lot of teachers are bitter, because it's an endless cycle of nothingness. It's not performance based. You don't get it. The pay is what drives everything, and a lot of their gripes, because you have teachers that will truly like utilize 12 hours of their day every single day to ensure that their students succeed, and that teacher will get paid the exact same as that motherfucker that shows up when they're contracted to. And that's the service. And that's why a lot of them do gripe, because they can see the loopholes in the system. I mean, I saw it just 2 years into teaching. I can only imagine being like 20 years in and just having that.
Okay,
that
so with that being said, at this point, most people that become teachers now aren't they aware that they're not going into it with high pay grade?
Correct.
So then why would newer era teachers, let's say the last 5-10 years, be bitter or expect something different after a couple of years in when they know what they're walking into?
It's a honeymoon phase. It's just like a relationship. It really is.
Well said.
At first, you're so new to all the ideas. You're like, oh, I'm trying out all these new strategies. This is going to work. This is going to work. And you're very, very motivated to succeed. But it is draining in the sense that you're having crazy personalities. You're dealing with a lot of shit that, you never would have been expected to handle. You're not taught to handle. So like, I feel like I've been a dad now for the last 3 years in a sense.
Yeah, especially with the type of students that you teach, you're more with kids that come from troubled backgrounds.
Correct.
So if it wasn't, if someone was unfortunate with a not so strong personality, they'd probably get crippled in a class like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Just so defeated that I don't want to come back to teaching again.
Yeah. They call it it's a 5-year burnout period. And I feel this is just the cycle of life for me, because at 23 years old, the longest thing
I keep forgetting this motherfucker's 23
Yeah,
years
the
old.
longest thing I've ever committed to is elementary school. And that's dead ass. Like I had to go to elementary school for 6 years. That's the longest I've ever had to be in something, whether it's middle school, high school, college. I graduated in 3 years, and I've only been teaching for 3 years. So I don't know if it's just like that's the cycle of life, and maybe you guys can shed some light on that for me, because I just feel like every 5 years or so, there's going to be a new opportunity, and it's up to me to decide, do I stay with the norm, or do I try something new? Tell me, guys.
Hold on. Are you really 23 years old?
I'm 23 years old.
Just on a side note, can I just give you some kudos and respect? Not because you're a 23-year-old teacher, but because you do a very great job at carrying yourself as if like in your early mid 30s. No one would. I don't think anybody. I forget that you're in your 20s until you just said that. Like I think like you might be closer to my age sometimes. So I just want to give you kudos because
Thank you. I appreciate
you're obviously excelling as a human. Being in an environment of a bunch of children, you're not staying in the same place as a person. So I just want to give you kudos and credit for.
I appreciate that.
Like truly having some awareness of needing to evolve regardless of your environment. So I got to give you love for that.
I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from the freaking guys motivating.
He complimented. I didn't compliment you.
Yeah, but you.
Hey, man, we're partnership.
Yes,
No,
yeah. You guys are brothers.
So I'm looking at the average pay for Las Vegas teachers, and on the low end it's $54,000, medium $67,000, high end $71,000.
Can you pull up university teachers also?
I'll tell you that's false. That's falsified. Well, okay. So here's where they get you. When you get into teaching, they lump in that pay with what goes into PERS, which is what the Nevada retirement system is. So yeah, new first year teacher, $60,000 a year. Yeah, I got
No, it's more like 30.
$33K my first.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm still at that. I'm like,
Okay, so if you want to fast forward, and you need $1.6 million to retire, and you got to save all this money. It's hard to be on track when you're making that kind of income.
Hang on a second. What age are they hitting 1.6 million at? Like, what age are they saying you need to be able to retire on 1.6 million?
This is the statistic that says, yeah, I'm not saying that's accurate, but it's hard to save money when you're making that kind of money.
yeah, no, bro.
You can't. There is no saving money at that
Not that that's the goal. You want to invest it, but the reality is every penny you make, and that's why in Seattle, when I was there, a lot of teachers were driving Uber in the summer.
Mm-hmm. But he just said it. That's why he said it's up to the teacher. He's like, I don't just go teach and then fuck off my time.
True.
The rest of my schedule, I actually am like he's got this going on. He's working on other projects. So, and it kind of goes back to like that one example I gave in one of our other episodes where it's up to the person to either do something additional with their time to make more money, and either work towards getting out of where they're at or just having an extra income for some side hustle because they love what they do.
Right.
And George, and like I said, their teacher schedule is no more than 8 hours, 9 hours.
Yeah, and the best time, bro. Like, I mean, 6 to 2. Like,
shit. And if you sleep 6 hours a day, I mean, you got a whole nother 10 hours on your belt.
It's truth. It's
truth. So what are you doing with that 10 hours?
I think here's a thing too that I just don't want to skim past. Like, there are a lot of teachers that they have to put in the additional hours that I will never have to see. because I only have 5 to 6 kids at a time. Now, their problems multiplied are the equivalent to some of the other teachers, but in no way, shape, or form do a lot of teachers get to live the life that I live, where I can grade papers right after the kid does them, like right in front of his face. I don't have
so
any...
when we came in and spoke to the class, that was multiple classes combined into one.
Correct.
Oh, got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, we can only imagine, because like if we think about just when we walked in, one kid tried to bust our balls for like the first 10 minutes we were there.
Yeah.
So like that one kid is probably equivalent to like 15 regular kids in a normal classroom, you know? So I can totally see that. But since you mentioned it, what is the additional that a regular teacher has to do that you say doesn't get the same luxury that you do?
Planning. There's a lot to be said about like me being able to print out 4 worksheets. Like when you're getting class sets of shit, like it gets very difficult in the timing and the process, because schools operate from those hours. After those hours, there's very few people that are staying after, and if you are, you're in your classroom. So the operation side of getting worksheets printed, having important conversations that you need to have, like they all lie within these like 10 to 15 minute gaps between your lunch, your break, in between classes. So a really well planned out teacher could crush a day, right? And then they would have to spend all that following evening planning out the next day. I guess those are the people that I'm trying to shout out right now.
Okay.
So you're like a project manager too. You manage your whole. Do you do everything on a Sunday and then say, okay, I'm done for the week planning, or is it case by case, day by day?
Yeah, no, for me, like, I mean, I have a kid who has had the same assignment on his desk for the last 3 weeks. And today was the first day he started to talk to me, and we got to like, because I was like kind of fed up with it. I'm very laid back, you know, like, because I didn't like to do shit in school either. So there's external stuff that I let be in order to try to be friends with them first. So yeah, for me, dude, I can literally be working on one singular assignment for a month with my students, because that's their pace, that's their plan, that's their IEP. Like, that's it. I mean, a lot of other teachers, they really do have to, like, teachers right now are thinking about March, like assignments wise.
Okay, so here's a hole I want to go down, the rabbit hole. And I've noticed this, and I've always questioned this. And I guess I'll say it through grade school. I'll say it through, is my mic on?
No, sure. You're fine.
Okay. Grade school, middle school, high school, especially in colleges. Why is it, do you feel that a lot of teachers, professors are pushing socialism very strongly? Why is that? And want to teach it to the kids, and not just socialism, but more like the leftist mindset. What is it about? Is it an income bracket issue? Is it just, what is it?
So yeah, I mean, are you talking specifically in just higher levels of education? Are we talking post-secondary college?
Well, even in elementary school, they have these programs, right? Systemic racism, they're pushing that through the schools.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and,
those.
And for me as a parent, I don't want I want teachers to teach our kids what they need to learn, right? I don't want them to teach them ideologies or their narrative or what their beliefs are on something that has nothing to do with school. Because kids, like my kids come up to me, my daughter's 14, and she'll ask me a question. I said, Taylor, you don't need to worry about politics. You need to worry about school. And and my son asked me this one time, regardless of what side I'm on, I'm more on the conservative side, but he said, if I wasn't, would that? I said, no, I'm not going to hate you because of what side you're on. You just be you. Mm-hmm. I'll love you regardless. I don't judge you. You don't have to do what I do. Don't do what I do.
Right.
Learn it your own way. Because when I was in school, I didn't give a shit about politics. When I was a young adult, I didn't give a shit about politics.
Okay, let's hold on.
Until it affected me. Until it affected me when I owned a business at 27. Then I was like, well, shit, where's all my, who's FICO? Where's all my taxes going? And then once there was a conservative president in office, I saw that I got more tax benefits as a business owner, right? Does that make sense?
In a sense, you kind of went from critical race theory to economics.
Yeah.
So I can touch on critical race theory really quick.
Yeah.
It's critical race theory can be broken down as this: have white people done bad at some point in time in history?
Of course.
Have
Sure.
black people done bad?
Yeah, of
course.
Right. You go down the fucking list.
Right,
And
right.
then
Everybody's
it's just
done
like,
bad.
hey, boom, cut it. All right. Now we're all even, and we need to accept that at some point in time, people fucked up.
Everybody
And-
has. Absolutely.
And it's if we're going to preach like being able to move on, then let's just do it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Let's just move forward. So for me, that conversation ends in like
It's
30
5
seconds.
because
Yes.
at the end of the day, every race, culture, religion has its extremists of like really shitty people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, as much as we would love to hope that everybody wants to be good, not everybody, but you have to be, you got to be, look, I live in realism.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
sugarcoat shit. I don't live in wishful thinking land. I'm not just hopeful. I'm in very raw reality. And the reality is that there is a lot of shitty people out there too. And here's the thing. There's a lot of people that have become qualified, skilled, great shitty people.
Yeah, I agree.
Meaning, and they actually pass it off like as if they're good, and some people fall for it, but they're really not. Like their skills of being shitty has improved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that was my question because, I like teach the kids, right? Don't bring all this other shit in.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to avoid it these days because it's not the teachers that are doing it, man. It's
It's a school board.
It's YouTube University.
Right, but the school board they're pushing a theoretical notion. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And so it's a theory, and then it goes into the kids' brains, and then and I see it across the board. Now, it's like white kids being white's a bad thing. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? And it pisses me off because I'm mixed, but at the same time, you're pushing this agenda to say, oh, being white is a negative.
Yeah, and that's as soon as you're just finger pointing. You know what I mean? Like you can't be doing that.
Anyway, Sean, what were you saying?
Well, since we're on that subject of just teach the kids, and you having kids, we don't. What is your opinion on the education system today versus what it should be?
I think it's really, really, really archaic and outdated, and it needs a huge facelift because they're not teaching kids how to do practical math. They're teaching stuff. For example, my question: why X plus Y equals Z? This is a question in school. Why'd they change the numbers to letters? How the fuck is that going to help me make money? How am I going to survive? Basic social skills, interaction, moving forward, being self-independent, learning how to cook your own food. Stuff that matters.
Skills.
Life skills, Sean.
Not stuff from the past that's not going to serve us. I mean, yeah, there's some stuff about history that we need to know.
Right.
But not a full class of 1 hour for a whole school year.
Right.
Because what does that do? I mean, unless there's a kid that actually wants to go down that path that's going to serve their purpose.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, for the most part, that's
great
why.
question, Sean.
That's why, for me, even though I was a fuck up and I was a drug addict, like I didn't jive with school.
I didn't either.
Because I already knew right out the gate that like I would literally sit there and think, where in my life am I possibly going to use this stuff? And that's why for me, I was so attracted to math. Like even though I barely passed everything with like a D+.
That was
and
me.
in my Spanish class, I had to get a C or I would have flunked because of my previous year. But math, I think we talked about it before. I got 110% every year, my entire school.
That's phenomenal.
School life. But like I was so attracted to numbers because I knew numbers was going to play a ridiculous role in my life, whether it was money oriented, whether it was certain life skills, whether it was financial advice, like whatever it was, I just knew somehow, some way,
right,
numbers was going to serve me, and I just want to be the damn best at it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I was horrible at math, but to your point.
But at the same time, I don't need to know calculus.
I can't even spell calculus.
Where in calculus am I going to use in my life?
So I would ask, that's what I would ask, the basic questions. Davrick, why do you have a calculator? I said, so I can do the math problem. Go to the principal's office. Now, if you don't have a calculator, you go to the principal's office. It's like, how are you going to do math with a calculator? This is before computers.
Most people are using calculators right now. Like,
Right. And so my point was, teach the kids what they need to learn to survive. Now, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a physicist, and you want to be
attorney, all that stuff.
and you got certain, well, even an attorney, all you have to do is take the the bar. But yeah, to your point, you have to go to certain schools and get certain degrees and take certain classes to achieve what you want to do. But if you want to be a business owner, okay, you don't need a degree. If you want to learn how to function in life, here's one. Most of the kids in high school can't even fill out a freaking application for a job.
Like
My son goes, how do I fill this out? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like-
I didn't say that to him, but I'm like, name.
like one of the classes should be teaching you how to go out there and get a job, because I mean, shit, kids look, there are places where you can get a job at the age of 16. So why is there not a class at like sophomore, junior year where one class is how to go out into the real world and get a job?
Here's how you use your debit
and
card.
improve your skill set.
Here's how you balance your accounts.
George.
Here's how you put gas in your car. Here's how you budget your money. Here's what you have to spend. Here's, life skills. And nobody teaches it. But, but hold on. Back in the Industrial Revolution, right? After the Industrial Revolution, they had trade schools. They go to learn a trade, right? Which is kind of like maybe a community college before you get your degree at a university. Now it's like, okay, you're done. And then what happens? They go out.
You got to go figure it out.
Go get an education and go get a good job and stay broke. Right? With benefits. I got benefits. And then you want your college paid for. What?
George,
Jorge.
Do you believe that at any given point in time I don't think you'll be a teacher for 20 years, but
no.
Do you think at any given time in our lifespan we'll see a change in the educational system?
Oh yeah.
You really think so?
You guys are talking my kind of music right now, because it's here's the jump that's going to happen within the next 5 years. There's going to be a huge amount of virtual schools popping up.
Okay.
So high school will be offered, I would say 25% more right now than it is like virtually, right?
Sure.
So that option is going to make itself very prevalent in like 10 years, to the point where I think schools are going to be looked at as something different. I think schools need to go back at being looked at as the central hub where you get everything that you need, whether it's like resources, it's like the library, it's community events, it's, anything to bring a community together. That's what schools are missing. Because oftentimes what happens is parents don't show up to schools at all until it's like maybe like parent-teacher conference time, or there's some
until it's too late.
Until it's too late. And I was a part of that, dude. I was a part of like the fuck up parent-teacher conference and hating my life. And I wish it would have been more so that my parents were involved in knowing who my teachers are. They're getting to meet my friends. We're all coming around to this one centralized location where we can get all of these knowledge resources, like what a school should be.
Could you imagine if there was a class starting junior year where the teacher was teaching traditional values of honor, respect, integrity, loyalty, manners, but at the same time networking and stressing, hey, you guys in this classroom, there's 20 of you, you guys all have to find a way to be friends by the end of the year. Because when you guys leave high school, some of you might need each other's help. Some of you might be looking at each other's business partners. Like,
right.
Could you imagine what that would do if just those, what I said alone was being taught in one classroom?
Priceless.
Like kids, because no one knows that these values don't even exist. It's not sacred anymore.
But the problem is the school board has to approve the curriculum.
That's the problem.
That doesn't work.
That's why special education is the loophole, and that's why I would only ever be a special education teacher.
Because you can go that route.
Because my individualized education plan for that student outlines this, and this.
Oh.
So that's the
damn
loophole.
But now, okay, so with that being said, do special ed teachers get paid less than regular teachers?
No. In some cases,
Probably
you
more.
get paid more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then good shit. Everybody go be a special ed teacher.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not a bad gig.
No, I don't think it is.
That's why when you said you said 20 years a teacher, I plan on doing 30, collecting probably based on like the retirements. Now I'd be collecting 75% of what my last 3 years was at the age of 54. So I could be making $40,000 a year at 54 doing.
Well, here's the other thing with
doing nothing. Like I would just, and on top of like 500, 600 grand from.
Well, here's the other thing with being a teacher that I don't think most teachers really realize. Because a teacher can be an entrepreneurial teacher in the teaching world also. Meaning, so if you are teaching, and let's say, George, you have a specific skill set that is actually qualified for something in life, whether, let's say, you were great at an instrument, or you have another business going on, whatever it is, and you took that skill and you told all the parents of your students, hey, this is what I do outside of school, and I teach and educate kids on being a musician. Mm-hmm. Instead of being a musician as your other job as a teacher in another classroom, you teach that privately. Guess what? You're charging $150 to $200 an hour. Absolutely. Guess what? Yep. Turn that into 10 kids. That's a nice fucking fluctuation in your pay.
Trust me. I think this is when this virtual shift happens, right? And a lot of kids are going to have to be trusted to be at home alone and do virtual school. Why not just bring them over to this location where Mr. Carmona is running his private life?
They're already starting schools in the metaverse right now.
Oh, I just was playing virtual reality with my kids today.
Isn't that crazy? They have a class.
That's so cool.
They're teaching, and then they have another one where I don't want to get off topic, but they have casino hosts taking these people to the casinos.
There's
I don't know. I don't want to change the topic, but
no, I don't want to go. I was about to say something, but it'll go way off topic, so I'm not going to go into it.
we're freestyling, so go for it.
But you 100% believe it's gonna change directions.
Yeah. There's no way. Just based on just look at history itself. It's like 100-year revolving cycle where everybody's ideas get put to the top. Now we're on to this next generation who ideas have been marinated for the last 30 years, and that will be what's implemented. So there's going to be a huge shift.
It's going to make
huge shift.
But that also is going to make a huge impact on social skills.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the channel. If you like what you saw today, find value in what you saw, please share with your friends and family.
And make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and in the comment section below, let us know which topics you would like us to cover in the future.